All right, folks, crack a beer open if you got one. We are here for
Pour one out.
another pour one out because we are here to um I don't know how eulogize. Yeah, this is like a eulogy for the Oakland A's.
Close the book.
Yeah, I'm your co-host Alex Espinoza with my co-host Dr. Hal Gordon. Cheers, Hal.
I
And
know.
First, before we get into the A's played their final game about an hour ago. I just want to say congrats to you and Kelsey, dude. How's the little guy?
I mean, it's been a strange week, Alex. I think as far as like a lot of things that were important to me the past few years, this was a terrible week. But as far as things that are going to be important to me for the next few years, this was the best week. So I had my son Jonah was born Monday night at 7
Woo!
p.m.
Hell yeah!
We named
Cheers.
him, yeah, we named him after Jimmy, the my old vending partner who passed in 2019. But he's been great. And Yeah, so obviously I was not able to go to any games. I had two tickets for Thursday. I had bought them a while ago, knowing that there was probably not a great chance I was going. But I was like, well, maybe if this kid's born like 2 or 3 weeks early, he ended up being born almost 2 weeks late. So there was no chance. I briefly had them for sale online, the tickets, and I think I was waiting on Sunday. I was like waiting, my wife is getting induced because she was so overdue. We were sitting in the hospital and I saw John Fisher's note,
His letter to the
his
fans.
letter, and I just was like, dude, like it's like so predictable what he wrote in that letter. There's no new information. It's no new anything, other than, I mean, like, oh, I wish I could speak to every A's fan. Like, are you kidding me, dude? But
Yeah.
like, I just like was so didn't want to have any part of it. And I was like, you know what will make me feel better? It's just rather than trying to sell these tickets, just like give them to someone who's who's following his Twitter, who like might can't go. We did that. I sent it to somebody, and that just made me feel better, like about the A's community. And it seemed like once we were home, I watched that game on Thursday, and
Yeah.
man, that was again, it was very weird for me because Thursday was my first full day at home with my son and then just sitting on the couch with him and both feeling so great because I had this new kid, but also just awful and just awful for everybody. But at the same time, I think I saw a lot of celebration and camaraderie and love there.
Yeah.
The especially after the game, you it just anyway, let's get into it, Alex. You
Yeah.
were there all week. You wrote quite you wrote a it was a moving but also it was tough to read
No, it was sad. I
an
was
article,
yeah.
a blog.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, I mean, I think there was a lot of people who were this was a celebration, but I know to you and I think probably to the majority of people there, yes, there was a celebration, and yes, we did ourselves proud that day, but and there was less anger than at the reverse boycott maybe, but also maybe it was just because of acceptance.
Yeah, I think it was like more
This
sadness. Yeah, I think it was more sadness at this point, you
people,
know. Yeah.
yeah, just crushing. So
Yeah.
how'd you feel, man? How was it?
Well, first of all, I think it's really cool that that little Jimmy. Wait, so how is he Jimmy if he's Jonah? Is he?
Oh, I so
Yeah.
oftentimes like sort of the Jewish tradition is to name somebody, use the same letter, but it doesn't have to be the
Okay.
same name.
Okay, okay. But
Oftentimes, oftentimes it's usually at least for Ashkenazi Jews, like the Eastern European Jews, they'll go for someone who's already dead. And I was always taught like, oh, this way the person who's dead like lives on in this next person. But I was like looking it up on the couch earlier this week, and it was uh, there. Somebody wrote, oh, the reason we do that is because otherwise it seems like you're waiting for that person to die. So you know,
Well, I don't know. That's almost kind of symbolic, dude. Like one,
yeah,
something like one of your babies died, and then you had a real baby,
yeah.
and now
I
you gotta.
mean,
It's like I was telling you, it's like the phoenix rising from the ashes for all of us.
that's right.
I mean, when I see him
Yeah.
at a Roots game, I'm gonna be so freaking happy, dude.
Yeah, I'll be excited to.
Put the microphone in his hand, but yeah, Thursday was really, really hard, dude. It was really like a death of a family member or a close friend.
Yeah,
Um, I saw so many incredible tributes there that whole week, really. So yeah, I went Friday night to the Yankees game, and then Saturday, Sunday, the tickets were so expensive. I was like, nah. Then I went Tuesday, and it was so like emotional and moving that I had to get a ticket to Wednesday, and then of course I was at Thursday. So yeah, I was at four out of the six, and um, yeah, Thursday was just really tough, dude. It really just really felt like a funeral. Like it when I first walked out there, like when we first got to 140, like I wrote all this, but yeah, like when I first got out to 149, like it was the most beautiful thing ever, dude. It's like, uh, it was, I don't know, I can't describe it. It was like I was saying, it was like the fans were sparkling on the other side of the bowl. Just seemed
yeah,
like heaven, dude. It was literally like a perfect day. Um, I mean, for
yeah,
whatever reason, as soon as I walked in, they started playing Lovely Day, and I was just looking around, and I just started crying, man, because I was just thinking, it was like, dude, there's no reason, like, I can't believe one man can kill all of this, you know? And it's not like it was just going on today, like that has been going on for 57 years, this party, and he just killed it, and it's just fucking terrible, man. I mean, the A's were my first obsession, like when I was probably like 12 or 13, 14, when you kind of get, you get to that age where you really get interested in something. The A's were always my first thing. I mean, I always loved them since I was a kid, but really like, around that time was when the Moneyball teams were coming up and everything. And so, it's just been such a huge part of my life for literally as long as I can remember. My first job out of college was, to be the A's intern for MLB.com, and I've pretty much been around that stadium hanging around the last 14 years. And through there, it's like that's how I met so many people at 149. I felt like that's why I had to watch at 149, is because that's where I met so many people, and we were all feeling the same thing,
yeah.
like yeah, like one of the drummers we were talking before the game, and he went to take a selfie, and his hand was shaking. He's like, "Dude, I'm sorry, but I got the shakes." And I talked to another guy. I found out that later he didn't even go in. He couldn't even go into the game because it was just too much. Like he tailgated and then he went home because it was too much,
God damn.
But
Couldn't
yeah,
even
like,
go in.
but like the walk, like after the fun, there was a lot of anger in the ninth inning and stuff like that, like the smoke bombs and a lot of people just flipping them off and all this stuff. Um, I mean, it hurts, everybody processes. I was more sad, but a lot of people were angry, And then I walked to kind of like behind the A's dugout, and I met my brother, who was the one who introduced me to baseball and the A's, and some other friends. And dude, there was like, grown men just walking up the stairs crying. You know, some people were like paralyzed in their seats, just crying. Like it was really like we all just witnessed a death on the field, dude. It was like we
Yeah,
all just witnessed a death, man. And I know it's like people say, it's sports, it's stupid, it doesn't matter. It's like, dude, well, do human relationships matter? Like, does hours spent with your family matter? Does hours, spent with these other people you don't even like, you just have this common thing? Like, um, And it was like I was walking around, like especially like the Tuesday night, there was like 30,000 people there. And I just kept telling everybody, I was like, dude, it could be like this every night if you actually fucking tried, man. And and there's like I thought of the
Yeah.
bees too, you know. I'm like, thank God we got the bees to help. But it's funny because like this summer, I've had the feeling walking around Raimondi Park, like, oh, this is how it used to be at the A's games. And then on Tuesday, I was walking, I was like, oh, this is how it feels at Raimondi. It's like fucked up. So
Yeah.
thanks to Paul and Brian, like, dude, I think the bees honestly helped way more than I can even realize. Like, if we had to go through the whole summer of just A's, dude, I don't know what I would have done. But knowing that the spirit still lives on at Raimondi, you can go tailgate in that tree before the game. Like, the Roots are coming back next year at the Coliseum. It's like, we're gonna get through this, but it sucks, dude. Like it was fucking brutal, dude, and it's really hard to describe. Uh, but what are
Yeah,
we
I
gonna? I mean,
some of
what are
the
we gonna do?
things,
I mean,
just seeing people leave their hats in their seats, you know, that was rough. That was hard to see. You just describing people, men just stuck to their seat, not leaving. That sucks. It
yeah,
just sucks. And I think we've spoken ad nauseum about why this doesn't have to be the way it is, why it could be different, why it didn't have to be this way in Oakland and it doesn't have to be this way anywhere.
yeah. It shouldn't be.
But
It should like nobody should have to do this shit, man. Yeah,
yeah, but like at the end of the day, we're left with this truth. Um, uh, it's, I think, potentially cold comfort, but I think comfort nonetheless to see how, the sports world reacted to it, which was,
yeah,
I think, potentially, if I cast my mind back to nearly, I want to say about a year and a half ago, maybe 17 months ago, when the A's announced that they were done with Oakland and they were going to Las Vegas. There there were some people saying, "Well, this is stupid," but like it wasn't, the reaction in the national media wasn't that strong about it all. Um it wasn't that way and it was so much different, I think, this week. And, part of that is, oh, it just became real. And, we're able to see people's faces at the stadium crying and stuff. But I think, for people who have been involved since then working on this, the 68s, I can't say enough about Last Dive Bar, the amount of work that they've put in.
yeah,
And, people who were covering this when no one else was covering it anymore, like you, Alex. Like, I think all this work at least got people to realize how fucking dumb this shit is. Um, and I think I'm actually stealing this. I was going to do this myself, but then the East Bay Times did my work for me. I was just putting together all these quotes. And I think if you're listening to this podcast and you went to the reverse boycott and you went to Fans Fest and you donated money to, the t-shirts, or donated money to schools over stadiums, or donated time to doing any of these things, like you helped people realize that this mattered to us. And here's what the national media said about it. ESPN's Jeff Passan: the Oakland A's were killed by greed. Do not allow the people responsible for this to spin it any other way. John Fisher did not have to move this team. Major League Baseball and its owners did not need to be complicit. There was a choice, a wrong one. History will sneer. The Athletics' Evan Drellich. Politicians across the entire country killed the Oakland A's. John Fisher could have fully funded a stadium in Oakland, but he and every other owner feels entitled to hundreds of millions in taxpayer dollars, to free money. Your officials everywhere keep proving them right. The Score's Travis Sawchik. Born into generational wealth, uses inherited wealth to buy a hometown baseball team. Team's value increases 7 times in 20 years despite no investment, but it's not enough. Scott Van Pelt. It's not just the A's leaving, it's the complete abandonment of Oakland sports fans by their teams. The Raiders were fickle, leaving, coming back, then leaving again. The Warriors are still in the Bay, but there's nothing Oakland about their new digs. And now this. Other cities have lost teams and it's gutting, but to lose 3 is without precedent. You think Vegas is going to support the A's? Come on. The passionate, emotional goodbyes from those who love the team are to be expected, but ask yourself this. Have you heard even a single dissenting voice outside of Oakland? Anyone saying this is a great idea? You've got it all wrong. This John Fisher guy, you got it wrong. He's a great guy. I haven't. This right here, this is just the worst of what sports can be. Heart goes out to you, A's fans. And there's so many more of, Buster. Buster only. What remains a total mystery is why the other owners in baseball stand by as the A's debacle plays out and they don't do anything. And the situation will continue to be embarrassment as the team moves to a minor league park. It's mind-boggling. All these people, coming out and saying, this is wrong, this is fucked, this is bullshit. And people will remember this. People will remember this. And I think if A's fans were not so adamant in celebrating themselves in their fandom, in their community, and what's important to them, you wouldn't have heard this kind of national outpouring about, frankly, outrage. So cold comfort, but I also think I think we did as much as we possibly could have done.
I mean, if there's one thing I hope good that comes out of this, or there's something that we accomplished. I just hope that there's one billionaire out there or somebody out there who was thinking about investing with John Fisher when they saw the reaction that he gets from us, and they were like, hell no, I don't want to invest in this team. Like I don't want to invest with this guy, That's like kind of why I still do it, but I do agree that you're right about the fans. I think we did change the narrative, I mean, it's not, people aren't crying foul about Oakland's a small market, I mean, some of the most expensive zip codes in the world are right here. If you just take Alameda, Contra Costa County, there's still 3 million people in the area in the East Bay. Like, if he wanted to make it happen, he could have made it happen, dude.
Yeah,
So, and I
absolutely.
think, I've seen a lot of people say, oh, I wish they said all this stuff earlier and everything. It's like, yeah, it's true, but, it's not over yet, dude. I mean, as far as we know, I mean, Sandy Dean, the A's Stadium Co guy, he sounds confident that the Fishers are going to pay for this thing. It's just a matter of time, and they're just probably waiting for interest rates to drop. But, I don't. I mean, they're still waiting. I mean, that's this whole situation is so fucked. Here we are, September 29th, the end of a season. They know for sure they're going to Sacramento next year, and then beyond that, like, there's nothing committed. Like, MLB committed to 2025. They said, yeah, we're going to be in 2025. But there's nothing for 2020. Like, they had no reason to leave Oakland. The only reason they left is because they got scared that people were mad. And it was
Yeah.
like, dude, you guys made it this way. And now they want to be the shiny new toy Sacramento.
Yeah.
People are posting those vivid seat projections that it's like $800 to sit out in
So I tried to look into a little bit into that, and
I don't think it can't
I
be
think
legit,
what's
right?
happening. I
Like,
think what's happening is that there are very few people who've received their tickets yet. So it's just a very small handful of people who've received their tickets, and those some of those people have put their tickets on sale and thought, oh, sure, if somebody wants to give me, I'm the only person who has
well, that's
tickets
because I went
to
to
the
the A's
Yankees
website.
A's game.
Yeah, because you go to the A's website, you can't even buy tickets. Like, the single game tickets aren't even on sale yet. So I don't know how.
Yeah. I mean,
Anyway,
listen,
yeah,
I mean, I want to prepare you, Alex. Like, I think that they'll have better attendance in Sacramento
absolutely
next
they will.
year.
Yeah,
Like, yeah,
absolutely.
I mean, like, and tickets will be more expensive in Sacramento than they would have been in Oakland or would be in Oakland because, but like, yeah, like,
No, I know the whole
yeah,
thing. Like
because
for
yeah,
Fisher,
but like
for
we know
because
why. We
no,
know
yeah,
why.
I mean
Yeah,
Fisher.
we know
For
why.
Fisher, it makes sense. Like he doesn't give a fuck
John
about
Fisher
the
hasn't
game. He
shat
doesn't care about the game.
in
Yeah,
in the people like the when somebody buys a ticket, they're thinking I'm giving this to fucking Vivek or whatever shit. You
yeah,
know, like they haven't had their lunch shat in by John Fisher yet. But
but
like,
yeah.
um,
But
yeah,
before we, I still want to talk about like kind of like this week and like especially
yes,
today. Like even
please
like
tell
today. I
me.
don't. Did you watch the games today? Did you were able to watch Sundays like the very last game? Did you see that or no?
I like I like watched like a half an inning or something. I was just like,
You're checked out. You're done. Yeah.
it's checked out
Was
because
Thursday it? Was like Thursday it or
the
what?
thing to me is it's the Coliseum and the people.
Mhm.
I don't I know you know what I think. Listen, I've interacted with people in the Geloff family. They're lovely people. They're great people. I wish nothing but Zach Geloff nothing but the best. I wish a lot of these players nothing but the best. But like they're none of these people where even Mark Kotze like I'm not they're not who I think of. The people who I think of are the people like when it cuts to the stands. And
Yeah.
I met so many people being a vendor, and I know so few of their names. And like,
But you know their faces. But you know
but
their
I know their
faces.
faces. And when it would, when it cuts to the stands and just seeing, and yeah, I guess there was people, quite a lot of people in Seattle, but like,
Yeah, it looked
but
like a
just in
lot. Yeah.
Oakland, when it cuts to the stands, like that's that's what I'm losing. I'm not, whatever. Like, eh,
Yeah.
I
I
mean.
mean that's what I felt like at the end of my thing I wrote, I think I said in the end, we didn't have a team that loved us back. All we had was each other. And like that's really
Yeah.
it, dude. Like that was
Yeah.
it, dude. It was like the reason why this thing was so special to us and cool to us was because of ourselves. It wasn't because of yeah, I mean, it did help that they had some cool, interesting teams that were cheap. So I don't want to like cheap like as much as people hate Billy Bean and David Force or whatever, they actually did help create this
I,
experience.
I don't,
But
yeah.
it was about the fact that I was sitting,
Yeah.
drinking beers and hanging out with these folks. That I loved it. It wasn't because David Force made a great trade.
If Marcus Simeon and the Mats were still on the A's,
Yeah.
and Sean and I were still on the A's, then yeah, maybe I would have watched more of the game today. But those are the guys who I'll always remember as the A's for when the A's were most important to me.
Yeah.
And one other thing, you know, people maybe missed who were at the stadium was before, I was like gonna go and get like some screenshots, but I was like, fuck it. Before, I think I mentioned right at the end, just like breaking down when Dallas, I mentioned on Twitter, breaking down when Dallas was telling a story at when the game was over about how he was telling one of his daughters that
Yeah.
they're not going to be going to the Coliseum anymore, and you could
Yeah.
hear, you could hear him. He was
Dude, he
crying.
was breaking
The
like multiple
beginning of
times
the
today. I don't
game,
blame him. Yeah.
yeah, the beginning of the game on Thursday, he did not have aviators on, and at the end of the game, as he was calling the game, he had aviators
Yeah.
on. And I don't think,
Dude,
I mean, I'm looking at
uh
a picture right now from your blog of the ninth inning. The, the media box was in shade. He, and, my feelings,
yeah.
some of my feelings I think are most complicated about, well, maybe not, but it's like it's hard for some of these people who still are working for the A's or working with the A's and can't say shit,
Yeah.
and like have to watch what they say. And if I was Dallas, I'd be trying to keep my job. It's maybe the greatest job, other than
Yeah, I
it might be
mean,
the greatest job in the world. like being a TV
Especially for him.
commentator.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
he holds a special place in
and
this franchise's
I
history.
mean,
Yeah.
I would be trying to hold on to that job to Sacramento and probably to Vegas, but like, so I can't begrudge him, but everybody, just from hearing him talk and from what he does that he is right there with us all, knowing how wrong this is and knowing how bullshit this is. And
Yeah,
you really
dude, you
some
could
people we've gotten to know who's to hear their true colors. Ricky is going to be Ricky. I whatever. Like that's just part of Ricky. And frankly,
uh,
I don't think I'm not surprised by any of it and whatever. I think part of the fun of Ricky is also the pain of Ricky because he's a fucking mean person. But people like Billy Bean, you're like, okay, okay. All right.
well, that's the
I
thing because
see.
he went on KBR and he was saying like, oh, people are taking it out on John Fisher. He took a risk by writing that letter. I was like, dude, dude, you don't like just
Fucking
don't
risk, dude.
apologize for. Do
No,
not be a John Fisher apologist. That's not what you want to be remembered as in this situation, dude. All
no.
right.
And John Fisher was not
Yeah.
taking a risk. I'll say this again. Like I think I've said this about other times when Cavill or Fisher have spoken. When they're trying to speak to a very small group of people, other owners mostly. A lot of it is other owners and just some of the other rich douchebags that run in their circles, that's who that letter's for. That letter is like plausible deniability. So when, John Fisher goes to, the San Francisco Museum of Modern Art for their next board meeting, he can, the other the other titans of industry can
Yeah.
say, "Oh, whoa, blah, blah, blah.
But
He did what
he
he
never
could. He
would have
did
written
what
this
he could."
letter if he would. Yeah.
No,
But yeah, yeah. But
get
anyways,
get
but like
get
back to
lost.
but Dallas though, like on Sunday he was like crying like quite a bit, but I do want to give him a huge shout out Dallas for uh keeping it together, dude. I don't know how the hell he did it because he's a passionate guy. He doesn't want to he's not one to really usually hold back. But he's got a family. He's got to provide. And but like,
Yeah,
dude, I just couldn't give him a huge shout out because I remember there was that game on August 6th and we chanted Dallas Braden. He gave us one of these heart things from the radio booth. Like I'm
that's
glad we
right.
had that little moment together. But today before the game, the final game in Seattle on Sunday, um, he went to like the A's dugout. He was
Yeah,
high-fiving and hugging,
yeah.
giving photos, doing as much as he could. And then he led a "Let's Go
Be
Oakland" chant, which was fucking
being
beautiful.
there for the fans,
Yeah,
you know?
he is a fan, dude. He loves baseball more than like any of us will ever. Like we love baseball, but Dallas, you know, Dallas from Dallas really loves the game. He loves A's history. He loves a fan. He knows what it's all about. And um, you know. To hear him today, I spent most of my days listening to the radio broadcast with Ken and Vince, and they were just like sharing stories the whole time, like how,
Yeah.
like they've known each other since before Vince's children were born, and since the late '80s, and um, it was tough, dude, and like Ken Korak was calling the game, and he mentioned like. This is the very same radio booth where Bill King called his very last game in October 2005. So that hit me pretty hard. I know how
Yeah.
close Ken and Bill were. Yeah, it's like, dude, Ken and Bill, Ken and Vince, like all this shit, man. And Dallas had some really heartfelt stuff he had to say. Vince and Ken were both thanking everybody. Like, um, I do want to give a shout out to everybody, and Jenny too for. There was this one really cool moment in the top of the ninth when the A's came up for their final time, and fans just started chanting, "Let's go Oakland again!" And Jenny's just like, "You know what?
Yeah.
We're gonna let you guys hear this." And so thank you, Jenny, for that moment. That was a really beautiful moment, and yeah, shit, man, I'm gonna cry again. But yeah, it was, uh, man, like honestly, Thursday was more emotional. Honestly, after today. I'm kind of like, thank you, it's over. It's like, please, just like,
Yeah.
it's like, like it's over now. I can go on to the rest of my life. Like, I can
Yeah.
finally start to let go for real because, I mean, I don't think I'm ever gonna get over it. Like, literally, like, what? Say I live to 75, it'll be half my life. I love this team, um, and I don't think I'll ever get over that. But it's like, what are we gonna? I'm not gonna be sad my whole fucking life.
You,
It's like, dude, it's time to move on.
yeah.
I'm moving. I'm getting out of here on Thursday, so I'll be on the beach on Friday, and and
Back to
that'll be it.
Mexico.
Going back to Mexico, man. So that'll be a great place to process
Good.
all this and
Good.
start my new life. So, um, really
Well,
wild.
we'll all move back to Oakland when they get an expansion team. But
I mean, dude, honestly, I was thinking about that too. It was like, even if shit falls up, say it's an absolute shit show in Sacramento, they got to come back in 26. I'm like, I don't care anymore, dude. I'm checked out.
no,
Like,
no, and
the
I don't think they'll do
absolutely
that.
only thing that would get me back is if Fisher sold the team and a new owner bought the team and they were like, we're going back to the Coliseum and then we're going to Howard Terminal.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Like Howard Dean.
Howard Dean Terminal.
Yeah, Howard Dean Terminal. Yeah.
Oh, this is how
Literally,
you
that's like
know.
the only
This
thing
is how
that
you
could bring
know.
me back. But I'm
This is how
just
you
full
know
on
that
about the
Alex
bees.
and I are the exact same age. Is that that Howard? Yeah, we get Kenny Bo.
I'm all about Kenny Bo at the bees. Like, I'm already looking forward to seeing everybody at Raimondi next year and just being like, all
Yeah,
right, fuck yeah, fuck those guys. Let's go bees, baby. Like,
yeah.
bees games are still hella fun, and that's just gonna grow. And another cool thing I've been thinking
I'm
about,
hopeful. I'm very hopeful that that's going to grow even bigger now that
I'm
now
really
that they won't
excited for
have to
next year.
compete with the A's. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited for that next year. But are you done with baseball, man? Like, are you or not baseball? Are you done with MLB? What's your feelings on Major League Baseball?
I I I was like back and forth on this last night. Like last night, I was while I was in between diaper changes and like trying to like I like there's literally a very bizarre part of being a very new dad is that like you are useless. You really can't do much.
Shout out
Like
to Kelsey.
just
I hope Kelsey's
your wife
getting some
has to do
sleep
like
right now.
almost everything. Fucked up. Yeah. Uh but yeah, I know we should probably get off this podcast pretty soon.
Yeah, I
So
think you've been
or
gone.
maybe
You've
I'll
been on
go
the
and
pod too
grab him
long.
and see if I can take him for a second.
Yeah.
But like I was watching Foolish Baseball, who's like my favorite baseball YouTuber. Sorry, Gamer Athletic, but like I don't
What
know if
about
you've
Ricky
watched
Block,
it.
bro? No.
Baseball. Not
No, I'm just
no.
kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
I listen, I don't watch my own material. Otherwise it would be my favorite. But I was just watching this, and just just enjoying it and it brings baseball means so many things. It brings back so many memories and stuff. And um I don't know. I don't know. I there will be other opportunities for me, fuck, I've always said, I'll probably done vending. Who knows? Maybe I'll pick up vending again, in a year or two or something.
Roots,
But
baby.
like,
Roots, baby.
that's right. Right. But like, I don't know where I am with Major League Baseball. I can tell you this for sure. I'm not, I'm not ever going to be rooting for the A's in any capacity. If they're in Sacramento, if they're in Las Vegas,
What if Joe
if
Lacob buys the team and
if
brings it back to Oakland?
well, yeah. If I'll tell you this, if even I think I would be even interested if somebody bought the A's from John Fisher and kept them in Sacramento, but also was like, this is also, we're the Northern California A's or something, and like reached out to Oakland. I don't know.
Yeah,
I would have to think about it. But like,
yeah,
but a John Fisher owned A's, they are now that
yeah,
they're gone from Oakland, they're my least favorite team. I will be
yeah.
I also, you know what? There was also just like something I think I heard. Maybe Brody said this on a YouTube or he tweeted about it or something or said something, and he's just like Brody. I think he was just like, I'm just looking forward to not thinking about the Ace for a while.
Honestly,
You
that's how
know?
I feel too. I felt like, especially the last month, like once September hit, it felt like an obligation. Like I told you, it was like I
Yeah,
feel like I have to document this because it's history, and it's like I felt like it was very important to document it. But now that it's over, I felt almost like a relief. I'm like, dude, I'm never gonna live do highlights for a baseball game again. I don't have to like I get 6 months of my life back. I mean, it
yeah,
sucks, but it's also kind of like a relief. It's kind of like I can kind of let go, It's like it's been, like I said, it's been very agonizing, especially since April. It's like, dude, what is this going to be like? Just kind of heaping a lot of stuff, but we made it to the last game,
great. Yeah.
and I got my
And
Coliseum replica. Here it is for the YouTube audience if you want to take a look.
wow. Wow.
Here it is, the Oakland Coliseum
All
for
right.
ants. And
Coca-Cola Reds. And
but
I think that
it's like kind of like, you know what, dude? I'll be on a beach in Mexico next week, sipping on a margarita and smoking a doobie, and life goes on, dude. It's like, I'm not dead. I'm not dead. The Oakland A's are dead, but I'm not dead. I still have friends. Yes, sucks that it's not going to be so easy to get all these people together, but it's like, dude, I'll still got bees games and
yeah,
still got roots games and
yeah,
um whatever, dude. And it's like, I still have these friends, like, I still have their numbers in my phone. Like, we're all still
yeah.
friends, but it won't be the same. Won't be easy to get us all together again. But you know,
You
I'm,
know,
I
you
think
know
if I had to
something,
do it all over again, I fucking would because it was fucking worth it. It really was, dude.
something I saw John Fisher at a lot of games. You mostly in diamond level, and then in 2022, he was sitting in like,
The
one of those
Budweiser
like sort of
sections or
picnic park.
whatever. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
one of those, the one that's like right down by third base that like is like just some like kind of
Like above
picnic
the family
bench.
section, right? Basically, right?
Yeah,
Like right
yeah,
there.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. And sometimes I'd see him there with his wife, but you know who I never saw him there with? Fucking friends, man. Like this like the one thing too that like I I just like I just don't understand about from someone with my personality. I'm like, dude, if you were gifted these billions of dollars, just build the fucking stadium. Just build it. And then you can walk around a stadium every night and get people high-fiving you, hugging you, being like, thank you. Thank you for finally
Dude, he
making it
could have been a
happen.
fucking
Like,
hero if you built Howard Terminal,
he
dude.
could have been a
We could
hero.
have been talking about
He could
John
like
Fisher
people like,
so
and you know
he
what?
could have been the dude who saved the A's, dude.
Guy, the
I
guy,
didn't even
the
think.
guy, the guy has friends. The guy, I'm
Uh,
sure the guy has friends. He's a billionaire. People are going to be his friend. But like his fucking friends are not people who go to A's games. They're not fucking people who are impressed by that shit.
they
His
went to
friends are
Stanford
people who
Business
are
School in the 90s or the 80s or
people.
whatever,
Yeah,
dude.
yeah. People
I
like
mean,
his
that's
friends are impressed by how much money he's going to make in Las Vegas, and it's just like, dude, just like why do God, I don't know,
dude,
man.
another
Like,
funny thing too is
why
Vital
would you? I
Vegas is
just would rather be loved than hated. Like, the
I
man
know.
is gonna be hated for the rest of his life. And you know what? And it's shit's gonna follow him. It won't completely follow him, but when he
Dude, I
dies,
think
when he dies,
this is his
that's gonna
lifetime
be his
legacy, man. This is his lifetime legacy,
when he dies, there's gonna be, and you know what? The Las Vegas A's might end up becoming an extremely valuable and money making thing. You know what? I just like I'm prepared for that. I'm prepared for them
man. Be the Raiders of
selling out.
MLB, just like
Yeah,
hey,
or
come see
yeah,
the visiting team, yeah, like or SoFi Stadium, like
I'm I
70%.
I'm
Yep.
prepared for them to have the the top five most expensive ticket in baseball. I'm prepared for them to make a shit ton of money. I'm prepared for them to even start spending some money on players because they're making so much money. You know what? They might even fucking win a World Series there. But when he dies, they'll say, if he even gets to Vegas and if it's successful, they'll say he found success there. But they will also, in that same sentence, in that same breath, you know, say these kind of things. History, what was
Like
it?
he got ran out of
Hassan,
town. It's because he got ran out of
somebody,
town in Oakland, right?
history
Yeah.
will sneer. History will sneer at him. And like, the man is a fucking billionaire. You don't have to be sneered at. You just, I don't know. I don't get it. Whatever. But I think I too am glad to not be thinking about this anymore and to put this to bed and to, you know, continue to pursue a lot of the friendships that I've made. I cannot wait next summer to come back to Oakland
Dude,
with my
people are gonna be
son.
so excited to see you, man. Like
I
it
can't wait to come back and just like, he's still not gonna fucking know what's going on in a year. But like to go, I definitely want to go next year
dude,
because I
I
think the
had to
Roots
tell
will
you
only be in
too.
the Coliseum for 1 year.
Yeah.
But like
Well,
I want to at least be there in the Coliseum with him. Like I want to like see people, it's just like we will take these things and if you for those listening, like I don't know who your best A's Coliseum friend is, or your best fandom friend or best group of fandom friends, but don't, hold them close. Don't let them go. And yeah, the other thing I just like about Ken, uh, when at the end of Thursday's game, I think I mentioned this
dude, yeah,
also on
that was
Twitter.
an incredible call, man. That was to shout
He
out to Ken
said
Korak, man. That was such a good call, dude.
he
Yeah.
said I think he said may you know remember these memories, may these memories be a blessing for the rest of your life. And that is, Ken is also Jewish, and that's the traditional thing you say at Shiva. May their memory be a blessing. And so let the memory of your fandom be a blessing to you. And it's not dead in like that you're not dead, and your friends aren't dead, and your city isn't dead, and the places that you go and celebrate your city
The
and your
Coliseum
friends
isn't
aren't
dead.
dead.
Thank God, dude. If that was like the last time I ever went to the Coliseum, I don't know what I'd do. I mean, I know that
Yeah.
day is coming soon at some point,
And
but
it will never be the same. It will
yeah.
never be the same. The Roots, the Roots and the Bees are never going to replace a major league team. Unless something insane happens in the next, you know, 5 years or 10 years or something. Like, it's just never going to be the same. But, cherish those memories and build new ones. Go to Roots games, go to Bees games, or, go to other things. I don't know, man. Uh, become a huge fan of Major League Lacrosse or some shit. I don't know. Whatever you got going on. I think there's the Oakland Spiders. They play frisbee. Like just pick something new and enjoy that shit. And we'll see the last dive bar at Port's games and stuff. And God fucking damn it, I hate him so much, but he's John Fisher's someone else's fucking problem,
Yeah.
and that's a blessing.
Yeah. You know what's funny? It's like I think that every year he still meets with other people named John Fisher. And I'm like, they have like a breakfast or some shit like that. I'm like, dude, we got to
There
find
was
out where that is. Be like,
there was a
pick it outside of the restaurant. Like,
there was a
cool.
house there was like a house like 5 or 6 blocks from me in San Francisco that was like on my run, my run, like my jog, my fat man jog. And when I went by it once, and there was like, like somebody delivered like a big thing of like dog food from like Chewy or something. And it was delivered to John Fisher. And I was like, oh, I wonder if he goes to the lunches. Um, let's see if I can grab let's see if I
Oh
can grab
man.
Mr. Jonah. We'll see. We'll see if we can make an appearance. We'll pause
Yeah,
pause right
yeah,
now.
yeah. Let's see if we can see the little guy. Hey, Jonah, buddy. Oh
Yes.
my gosh. Hey, buddy.
So
See you at the Roots next year, buddy.
that's right. So
Uh,
it's
I
it's
mean, what's
been a
it like,
week.
honestly, just knowing that your little boy's never going to go to an A's game?
I think what is funny about it is he's gonna fucking hate these stupid stories that I like telling because I'm gonna like tell him these stories all the fucking time. He's it's not like it's not like oh like
It's like, Dad, stop
whenever
telling me about the Oakland A's
whenever
Coliseum.
yeah right it's like whenever we go to the A's game I can tell you an old story about the A's and it's part of the thing, right? It's like dude, I never did that. Stop talking about this stupid shit. I'm so tired of your, in our basement, I got the big cutout of me that doesn't fit, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, stop showing everyone who comes over that
Like,
stupid
you're
cutout of
embarrassing me,
you.
Dad.
Yeah. I mean,
Oh, that's
but like
awesome.
I think too that there will be, like I was saying, there will be new fandoms, there'll be new things. Maybe it'll be the Bees, maybe it'll be the Roots, maybe it'll be whatever you Alex, if stay in Mexico, you'll be whatever the Oaxaca
I
team
think they're
is,
the
and
Oaxaca Sox. Their logo looks like a White Sox logo, but it's an
there you
OAX
go.
actually. So it looks kind of
There you
cool.
go.
Yeah.
That's great.
But actually,
Maybe
it
maybe you'll
kind of feels
become like
weird.
a
I'm like, I
Oaxacan
can't rep the
Sox
White
fan.
Sox. I'm like, I don't know.
Who are you gonna rep? Who cares?
I mean, they're called the Oaxaca Guerreros. I think that's their name. So the
That's
Oaxaca
nice.
Warriors. So that's nice.
So yeah, it'll be great. Um,
But dude, I was gonna say one last thing before we go. Do you have any shout outs to like former coworkers or customers or friends or a fan, like anybody you want to give a shout out to? Because I know you're out here. And I wanted to say over the last few days since you've had your kid and you posted that, I've had multiple people come up to me and be like, dude, how's Hal doing? Like, like people are like, it's like literally a family. People say like, dude, we're all a family. Like, this really is a family. People are like checking in on you, even though, you've been over there for like 6 months or whatever. Like, people still really, really care, you
yeah,
know?
I I you know I there were so many people I think like that I got to know that I really enjoyed. And um, just like I think the first person that as a vendor, I don't think I ever made friends with people when I was vending, like fans. The first person I ever made friends with as a vendor was this guy named Boston Mike, who was like a Red Sox fan, but also an A's fan because he lived in the Bay. And he had this thick Boston accent. He was a Muni. He was a driver in Muni. So he lived in the East Bay, but he drove in San Francisco, drove buses. And his dad was a bus driver in Boston. And and uh he loved the cards that I would made. And he was just this like
Yeah, yeah.
outgoing guy. And Mike Mike loved the cards that I made so much that he then made his own cards as a bus driver
So when people get on, he would just give
and
it to
handed them
them.
out to his regulars on his ride, like the commuters that he would see every morning. It was like the first time I like made a friend with somebody vending. And that was like to me, I was like, this is something different, man. Like this isn't just some goofy job where I'm enjoying baseball. Like this is a goofy job where I'm enjoying baseball and making tons of friends,
Yeah.
And um Mike himself, he he ended up getting leukemia and he died in 2022. But he, it's just it's just it's that shit where like that kind of shit, man, like
Yeah.
I would have never gotten to know Mike. I would have never gotten to know his wife. I would have never gotten to like enjoy like all this ridiculousness of of meeting the 68s, of meeting like fucking Mike Davey. He's a nut bag, but like I mean he's nuts. But I was like, no, he needs to be the guy who's doing hot dogs at Ballers because I'm not there anymore. Like meeting those kind of people. But just like God, like every single person
Yeah.
who would
There's
come
so
up to
many
me
people,
when I
dude.
at Ballers
There's
games
so
to say
many
like, I'm
people.
so glad to see you and be here. Like all these people, like that's what sports is. Like that sports is stupid, but like it is family. It is stupid bullshit. It doesn't matter if you win or lose, but it matters that you're family.
Yeah.
And
No, I feel the same way, dude. I feel like I have a collect,
yeah,
like honestly, because I've been kind of really embedded with the A's fandom. I feel like really, like 2012 was kind of like a really big season for me, getting to know the fan base. Like, that's when I started roaming around. Like, MLB.com started this thing called a real-time correspondent. They had like this page called Cut Four, which kind of like just
hmm
encapsulated all the goofy ball, like everything but the game, like everything like in the ballpark, that is happening. And so that 2012 season was a great season. This is like when I don't know, flip phones were starting and shit. I don't know, like
yeah,
flip video cameras were still a thing, and
yeah,
it was like, oh, we can share video and photos now, like in real
yeah,
time. Like, holy shit. And I remember at the end of that year, at the end of 2012, people were like, dude, Oakland was the best out of any, I mean, out of any club. And that's where I met Jorge and Anson and Cass and Ross and Drew. Uh, God, who? Omar. I mean, there's like a million people. I mean, Carlos, Shireen, Nina, uh, God, who Charlie, who else? I mean, there's so many, there's like way too many. And then honestly, I feel like also there's another huge wave of like camaraderie since the reverse boycott. I feel like since June of
yeah,
last year, like
yeah,
we coalesced again.
yeah,
Like, I don't know, man. I just want to give a shout out to like Sarah and Allison and Thomas and Saul and like I don't know, all these people, and like, I don't know, Ben Christensen, who I've known forever, he was there too. I mean,
yeah.
there's like Alejandra, like Jorge's, and Michelle, like John, Hannah, like, dude, there's so many. I mean, Gabe, Gamer Athletics, Last Dive Bar, Paul, Brian, Carl, uh, dude, there's so many people. Like, I can't. It's like there's way too many people, dude. And another really cool thing I did too this year was I went. I only made two road trips. I went to Baltimore and New York, and I saw you in New York. But over there too, I met people like Steve and Jack and Aaron. Like these people, I met them for one or two times, and then they came back to Oakland. We all saw each other this week, and it was great to see them. And it's like you can bring this shit everywhere, dude. Like you just have an ace hat and you're across the country and it's like boom. We're like instantly, best friends. And I'm gonna miss that, dude. And that was so special. I feel so lucky to have had that. But there's like countless, countless people. Jenny, dude, I don't know. There's so many more people. I'm sorry if I didn't name names, but uh
Mark my words here, man. Like if if Major League Baseball or some other major league sport, maybe it's MLS, maybe it's another NFL team or some shit. I don't know. If Major League Sports comes back to Oakland, they may never have the largest fan base, but God fucking damn it, that core fan base will be so strong because
yeah.
of the shit that people have gone through. Like fucking St. Louis Cardinals fans have never gotten together and cried together. Like no, no, no. St. Louis Cardinals. I'm not picking on the St. Louis Cardinals. It's just like a random fandom, right? Like these other fandoms, they don't know.
Yeah.
they don't know
I
how.
never thought we'd be here either, dude. I just thought literally every single April I would wake up and it'd be fucking opening day for the A's for the rest of my life. I didn't even think this was, I knew that they had a low payroll and low attendance, but the fact that this even happened is fucking crazy to me, and I don't think I processed it yet. I mean, but I think you're right. And that's what I try to tell people. Like, if you're a Yankees fan, can you imagine if Brian Cashman traded away Derek Jeter when he was like reached arbitration? Can you imagine if Mariano Rivera was fucking let go, or Andy Pettitte or Jorge Posada? Like, dude, the A's could have won a World Series if they kept the Chapmans, if they kept Murphy, if they kept Semien, if they kept Bassett, they kept Mania. Like, and one they
I mean,
just never.
but like fuck that, man. Like, it's not even that. It's
I
not even
know,
that. It's that
but
like,
but
can you
that's the only
imagine
way
if
you
you're a
can
Yankees
connect to
fan?
these fans if
Can
like
you
you tell
imagine
them.
if the Yankees went away? Like,
But also, like, I don't even think people, yeah, because they don't even think about like they'll be like, no, that'll never happen. Like, but
yeah.
it's like, yeah, I don't know. Anyways, yeah, I don't know.
I
It's
mean,
just like
I
it's
mean,
just like a problem
I
unique
mean,
to Oakland fans, and it's almost like we should have seen
and
it
it's, but
coming, but
it's
also
not,
like,
but it's not. I mean, like, get on Brody's YouTube channel. It's not, man. You know the first place I vended Cubs and White Sox. The first year I ever vended, I vended the World Series. It was White Sox Astros, and I mean, right now I think majority, like most likely the White Sox are gonna fucking leave, move
you
to
think so?
Nashville or some
Yeah.
shit. And honestly, it's like I don't know. It just I mean, I just like I just I keep coming back to that question you said, are you done with MLB? Like,
I
I mean,
am, dude.
kinda,
Like,
man.
I'm actually like happily done.
Kinda.
I think Manfred fucking can just Manfred sucks so hard. Like, he doesn't even like the sport that he resides over, and it's
Let me
like,
ask you a question.
yeah.
Let me ask you a question. Are you going to like will you check in on how the A's are doing in Sacramento?
I think I think I'm gonna watch the first game. I'll probably watch like the first week because I think they're on the road for their first, road trip, and then
Yeah,
I don't think I'm gonna be able to stop myself from watching the first game as much as I don't want
yeah.
to. I'm just curious to see what it's gonna be like in Sacramento. I'm probably gonna be hate watching it, be like, ah, this sucks, this sucks, this sucks, haha,
I'll
I
read
think
an
just for my
article
mental health,
if
it'll be
it's
good to
negative.
just turn that shit off.
Yeah, no, I don't think so. Yeah.
But
Yeah. I
honestly,
mean,
it's weird. It's like I think I'm gonna stop being.
I wouldn't want to go. I wouldn't want to go to Sacramento unless it was like, hey, unless it was like, oh, the last dive bar and everyone in the 68s are organizing like an Oakland section and we're all gonna just fucking piss and
No,
moan
I had zero
and
interest
have
in
sands and
actually
shit.
going, but even
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
watching, I don't know. Even
I
watching
wouldn't even
is
want to see it. I wouldn't even want to see it. I wouldn't want to see
no,
it.
I don't want to go to.
Because
I
it's
don't
gonna
think
because
I'll.
they're gonna sell a lot of tickets, and I get understand why. And I
Yeah,
just like don't
it's
want to
not
have to
even that.
explain to myself.
It's not even that. It's just kind of like they're dead to me, So,
Yeah,
um,
yeah.
it's like I hope people in Sacramento have a great time. Like, dude, that's fine. You guys have your fun, but I had mine. But it's like, I hope, I mean, and that's another thing. Yeah, it sucks that, yeah. I mean, it sucks that we're losing this in Oakland, but it's also like there are little kids in Sacramento and Vegas who maybe fall in love with Lawrence Butler in a few years,
Oh, there will be. Yeah, there will be.
I
What
mean,
are
I
you
feel
gonna
bad
wear?
these aren't kids from Oakland, especially East Oakland, a little black kid who can look up to Lawrence Butler and be like, holy shit, like I can play baseball too. Like it doesn't have to be football and basketball, I think that's important. But
Are you gonna wear? Are you ever gonna wear like an A's hat again?
no, I stopped. I think I already stopped a few years ago. I mean, this is literally the only hat I have now. Oakland roots. I was born in Oakland, and I literally the first breath of air I've ever had was in Oakland. So shout out to
Are
Summit
you gonna
Hospital.
wear?
But no, I don't
Yeah.
think so, man. I don't even think I'll still wear the A's logo here and there. I mean, that's the thing. It's like I know people have issue with the A's logo and stuff because of what it represents, but it's like, I'm still and like the Ricky Henderson shit with the split jersey, like I honestly didn't like that, but it's like, dude, I'm not gonna hate Ricky because he wore a split jersey. I still his other 40 years of history, supersedes this. That pissed me off, but it's like, what are you gonna do?
If you're listen, like I didn't grow up as like a Ricky Henderson fan, but like I understand who Ricky Henderson is and stuff. If you're like, oh my God, Ricky
No, I'm not
Henderson, what a
surprised at all.
sellout.
I'm
Like
not surprised at all.
like you
Yeah.
don't know who the fuck Ricky Henderson is, dude. Like the man is an insane person.
Well,
My
that's hella
favorite
fun. I
fucking
mean, like, so
my
so
favorite
Dave,
fucking
so Bleacher Dave and his wife, who were hardcore A's fans, they actually sent me a photo of the flight up there. Said, "Hey, guess who's on our flight?" And it was Ricky, and he was like, so I
yeah,
knew he was heading up there and everything. So
yeah.
I suspect that the Mariners paid for his flight, his hotel, paid him a shit ton of money to wear
Well,
that
yeah, he
split
posted
jersey.
a picture of himself at the airport with Ricky Henderson. So
Yeah. So I mean, I'm pretty sure they post. I'm pretty sure they took care of him, and whatever,
whatever.
man. I know people are mad about Ricky's comments and stuff, but it's like, dude.
Whatever.
He's the greatest player in Oakland A's history. Like this
Whatever.
dude, I mean, yeah. But anyways, that's a whole nother
Enjoy
pod.
the Ricky Henderson memories,
Yeah.
and all this other stuff. Like I think I think we've strayed from the message that may have been better to end with, which is
Yeah,
just
yeah,
like, enjoy those memories, but
yeah. Yeah.
also continue to enjoy your fandom and your friendship. And like frankly, I'm gonna continue being your friend, you know?
Oh, sorry, dude.
Like
This is it for me. This is the last time. No, I'm just kidding. I'm like, sorry, dude. You can hang out with Jonah now. You got a new podcast co-host. This is it for me. This farewell episode. But no, I know what you mean, dude. It's like, I still have these people's numbers on my cell phone. Like, we can still go to the bar anytime. We can go to Kingfish and hang out and have some beers. We can go to Bees and Roots games. Like, this isn't the end, It's just like the beginning of a new chapter. And it's like,
a different
we
chapter,
all
a
got this.
shittier chapter, but different. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we're all in this together. I mean, you're not alone, A's fans. You're not alone. I'm feeling it. House feeling it. The 68s are feeling it. Last Dive Bar's feeling it. Everybody who's there Thursday is feeling it. Like, this sucks. It's gonna be hard to process, but it's like we're all in this together. You're not alone. So that's my
I don't,
message.
and like,
Um,
frankly, I think if you're just like, even if you're a huge fan, I'll stop picking. I'll just say like
the
the
Cardinals.
Atlanta Braves, right? Like if you're a huge fucking Atlanta Braves fan, like even maybe you have season tickets and you know some of the people around you, but like and not obviously of the 45,000 people who were there on Thursday. A lot of people, were still by now or casual A's fans, and I get it. But if you're listening to this podcast, you're
You're
probably
pretty hardcore.
somebody pretty hardcore. But like I think like the pressure makes diamonds, like hard times make great men kind of thing, like the friendships and the relationships you made around the A's are in some ways much more special than if you were a fan of the San
Real
Francisco
ones.
Giants
Surrounded by real
and you were
ones.
like, and you're like, man, we missed the playoffs again after spending a lot of money.
Hey, at least we signed Chapman. No. But yeah. But yeah. But yeah, I just want to say thank you to all. I mean, there's nothing cool. Like really, it's really hard to articulate how cool the A's fan community is. I know you felt it over the past 10 years, and I was born into it. I feel lucky to have been born into it. But yeah, I just want to say thank you to everybody, the security guards, everybody who made that place special. Like that was so cool. And yes, I mean, we'll get through this, It's not the end of the world. Feels like it right now, maybe, but it's not the end of the world. So,
Yeah. Do you have
uh,
something to say, Jonah? Uh, okay. Right.
well, hey, say hello to Kelsey. I hope Kelsey can get some sleep. Oh, he's smiling. What's up,
There
buddy?
he
He
is.
looks like Kelsey
There
more
he
than
is.
you, dude.
He definitely looks a lot more like Kelsey.
Oh man. All right, buddy. All right, Hal, I fucking love you, man. Great to talk to you. And
All right.
hopefully see you guys next May for the Roots and the Ballers, dude. So
Absolutely.